Okay.
Let me go live now.
Mm.
It's preparing to stream. I'm just going to introduce you and then have you
Mhm.
off.
Okay.
Hopefully it works.
And in 30 minutes.
All right, going live.
You want me to check to make sure that it's live as well?
1 second. It's asking me to create a title. I thought it was already was there before. Uh,
Hello? Bring my watch, please. Go ahead.
you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, going live now. All right, we are live.
Hmm.
All right, sir. Well, ladies and gentlemen, tonight starts the first night of Legacy Week of the 2020 edition of the Legacy Conference. And tonight we have none other than Mr. Alexander Grant, who will be talking on tonight about futures and commodities. Come on in, sir.
Okay, thank you so much for having me. Thank you. Special shout out to Glenn Payne for having the Legacy Movement Conference. And just want to tell you, thank you so much for allowing me to speak on this subject and inviting me in. Legacy lives here, and we will be definitely creating wealth and legacies for generations to come.
Yes,
So,
indeed.
um,
You have the
if you have
full
any
stage.
questions, you can put it right in the chat and we'll get everything going right away. All right, so let's see here. All right. So, first thing we're going to discuss is talking about futures and commodities. Futures and commodities. What is futures? What is commodities? What are these things? Futures is basically exactly what it says future. It is the future of the resources. So, basically, all the resources that are in this world that we hold value to, that is what you are putting a contract on. So when it comes to stocks, for example, stocks gives you a small share or equity into a company. It's not a physical tangible piece, but it is equitable. So you get some type of portion of the company when you own a stock. Well, when it comes to futures, you don't particularly own it, but you do get to bet on the actual price on where it will go. So this is how you help regulate the market on future goals and things of that nature. So I'll give you a prime example. If we were to go back early in the Sir Arthur days, one of the heaviest metals trading at that time would be gold, right? So kings were kings valued gold. They valued shillings. They valued metals, precious metals. Well, today that is still standard amongst futures. So futures, they value gold. They value juice. They value um, let's see what's another one. Natural gas. They value silver. These are all things that they value. The American Treasury, the stock market, right? The stock market is a resource by itself. A lot of people want to do stocks. Well, guess what? Futures has a stock market that is its own resource. If the stock market crashes, what happens, right? We noticed that already this year. Everything else crashes. Your 401k, the housing market, the businesses. We've already seen just this year alone How many businesses have failed and have now gone either bankrupt or has closed down, all because of the stock market? Now we say, why would that happen? I'll give you a prime example. This year, a lot of businesses were without business for 3 months. No business has anticipated 3 months or 4 months with no income, with the same expenses. We all count for if the income becomes minimal. Okay, so if we make $10,000 this month, okay, a bad month, maybe we'll make 2,000, maybe we'll make 3,000. If we average out $10,000 a month for the last 10 years, 20 years, all right, then, we can say we'll do at least $2,000. That'll be on our worst month. Well, imagine 3 months straight, zero, zero, zero. That's what happens. So the smart future trader, which I've done, is you would bet, or you would do a thing called shorting. And shorting is when you are betting in the direction opposite of the market. You're betting on the failure of the companies. You notice, you ever seen those movies or TV shows where they say, I bet you $30 that you won't hit that shot, or I bet you $100 you won't get that girl. That's what shorting is. You're betting that it won't happen. You're betting that there will be a crash. There will be a catastrophic type of setting to occur. That is what futures presents. It gives you an opportunity to bet downwards, as in a shortened stance, or if you wanted to go long. So short and long, the complete opposites of each other, right? Short, long, same exact way with futures. You're betting on it to go up and you're betting on it to go down. Futures do require more capital than the average stocks. So, for example, there's a thing called penny stocks. That's any stock that is under $2 or less. $2 or less. Those are called penny stocks. So you only need $2 and you can purchase a share. Well, when it comes to futures, it's not as fortunate like that. Options is the same thing. You're renting the actual stock, but with futures, most of it will cost you about 1,500 minimum to get in, and that's not really a lot when you think about it. That's the average household paycheck, or at least 3 weeks of work if you're a person who makes X amount of dollars monthly. That's something that you really, 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 really want to focus on. The cool thing about futures is that you're able to make a large return on a minimal investment. Make sure y'all write that down. A large return on a minimal investment. It's the opposite as well. You can also take a huge loss with minimal investment. So you want to. A lot of people say, "Well, what do we look for? How do we actually invest?" Okay, I'll give you a prime example. When the whole COVID-19 virus came out, COVID is an airborne virus. They won't tell you it's airborne, but it is an airborne virus because that's why you're required to wear a mask. Something that is airborne can't really be contained. It can only be fought. It can only be pressed through. You can't actually contain it because it's everywhere. So when you're talking about COVID-19, an airborne virus, and it's now spreading amongst various countries. And when the moment I saw China shut down, I started shorting the market because it was only a matter of time before it reaches the US. And once it reaches the US, we control the stock market. And if the stock market is affected by a virus, that means everything else will plummet. That's why I shorted the market. So pay attention to little indicators. If a prime example is next month is the election, two things can happen. Either we can continue having the same president we have, or we can get a brand new president, someone who's never been in office before. That automatically causes uncertainty in the market. Trump has, under Trump's administration, the market has skyrocketed higher than it's ever been under any other president. So if Trump was to win, there's a high chance that it will continue to go higher, right? That's what we would think. But Biden wins, if Biden wins, now there's uncertainty because we don't know what he can do. There has not been any proven track record. Trump has already proven himself. He's already proven himself in the last 4 years. So investors feel kind of safe with him. But Biden, we have no idea. So the smart person or the wise person would say, okay, if Biden's going to win, I'm going to short the market. If Trump is going to win, I'm going to continue going long. And that is how you make wiser, smarter decisions. Now, it doesn't mean that you're going to be right, because what I'm telling you, it sounds good and is great. It's logical. It makes sense, but it doesn't mean that that's going to happen. It can be the complete opposite, and that's okay. But at least if you have a starting point, you'll make wiser decisions. You don't have to win every trade. You just have to win most. Okay, just remember that. It's not like sports where you have to score every touchdown. You just got to score. Just remember that. Okay. Another question when it comes to futures and commodities, what would make a person want to invest in futures and commodities over the traditional investments? This, for me, I believe that this is an additional. I don't believe you should live off of futures and commodities. I don't believe you should live off of any investments. I believe you should diversify your portfolio. And when the other qualified panelists, when they come aboard and they tell you, they're going to explain everything and they'll understand it because we're all working together. But when you go and you diversify that portfolio, now the differences in the splits on the income is able to now fund another investment. So I started initially with stocks, and I was doing so well with stocks that I was able to now set aside some money to do futures. And when I started doing futures, I just fell in love with futures more because I was able to put less in and make more money out. So with stocks as a day trader, you have to have minimum 25,000 of equity in order to be considered as a PDT, a pattern day trader. Well, when it comes to commodities and futures, all you need is just 1,500. So I decided to just put away 5,000. I started initially with 5,000 and I was able to make like a $800 to a $900 return, which I thought was phenomenal in a day to make, $800, $900 off of 5 grand. Stocks did not give me that at that time. Not saying that it doesn't, but at that time, it did not give me that off of a $5,000. I was usually making $800 to $1,000 a day off of 25,000. And that's why I decided to go to commodities and futures. Also, let's see here. I'm gonna go past on another part here. And if anyone has any questions or anything, just put it in the group chat, and we'll be able to answer it. Okay. So another thing here, when it comes to futures and commodities, you're not gonna get there's a thing called expiration. So these are contracts. And every contract has an expiration date, every contract in this world, because it can be broken. And if you stick with the contract, then it's an agreement between two parties. Well, it's the same thing when it comes to futures and commodities. You're making a contract with the actual brokerage, and you're saying, "Hey, I want to do this," and in return, they allow you to bet on it up or down. So there's an expiration date on each contract. Some contracts are 3 months, some contracts are 9 months, some are 12, some are just 30 days, some are 26 days. So you just have to go in and figure out which one works best in you, and make sure you never, ever, 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 ever stick with it. Now, another cool thing about futures and commodities that I like that a lot of people don't know about, what makes it so cool, is that you're able to actually bet on, let's say for an example, you was able to bet on gold. And let's say gold is at, right now, gold is about $1,930 a bar. So for $1,936, you're able to purchase a whole gold. And if you never get out that contract, your brokerage is required by the CMEX to send you an actual gold bar. So I think that's pretty cool. You know how you see it in Fort Knox and all these other different movies and things of that nature. That's how it is. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what the ticker symbol for commodities is, so it can show you a little difference, how it the difference between stocks and the actual commodities. So just to make sure that people see here, and it's really really cool. Okay, here. So if we go, I'm going to just share my screen so everyone can see it here. There we go. Perfect. All right. Everyone should be able to see it now. Okay. So if you're seeing my screen, you can see right here, there's a thing called NG. NG stands for natural gas. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to get in and out the market. So right now it's at $2.81. It is 0.62 down, which is 62 ticks, basically. And I am going to bet long on it. And I'm going to tell you why. So let's do three. Why not? Start light. Bam! You heard the noise. So I just got in. Right. I'm betting that it's gonna go up. So let's see where it goes from there. Now the /NG. What that means is natural gas. Right. And it even tells you right here, natural gas futures, and it expires for November 20th. So the 2020 of November, um, which is next month, this will expire. And when this expires, this will go all the way to the next month. And I'll show you here. So NG, and you see this one here. If you type it up, you'll see all the different NGs. So this is the one from 2021, and this is the one for the next month. So next month, natural gas is already trading at $3.22 uh, per gas. So you see the differences here. So every month is there's a change. So if you notice as this was going on, you notice that I was down $30, just that fast. Basically, you can lose $30. But also, I was up at $1.60, and just that fast. Just as I'm talking to you, you can make $60. And I'm gonna show you how much it costs just to get in. So if we go into one contract, it costs $4,725 to get in. And every time it moves, there's a $10 tick or $10 requirement. And it's the same thing. So if it goes up here to three and we click on that, it's $30 per tick. See, one, two ticks. And since this is where I got in at, I'm down $60. But with two ticks, now it costs 14,000 to get in. Three ticks, three contracts. And the same thing, if we was to go 10, 10 makes you a lot more money, $100 a tick. So instead of me being down 60, I'll be down 200, but it also costs 47,000 to get in. And that's how you do things. So these are the different. If you notice here on my watch list, Amazon did an amazing job today. You see, Amazon's making a lot of money today. 156. There's a high chance Amazon is going to skyrocket through the roof when it comes to their earning reports, because they've been doing phenomenal. They're the only business that has not taken a break since day one of the COVID scare. So those are the things that you want to get into. I hope everyone was able to see my screen and see the things like that. And we are now open to questions. All right. So I see a question here.
I think
Okay. So one person is asking, how much money can you make from futures? That's up to you. Depends on your investment. As you can see here, right? I'm gonna put. Let me put it back on my screen here so I can answer your question correctly. So as you can see here on my screen, let me see if I can. So right now I'm down $90. So if I were to just that fast, how you can lose $90 is the same thing. And this is only a $4,000 investment. Is it a $4,000 investment? No, I'm sorry, $14,000 investment. So $14,000 can make you lose $90 in less than 15 seconds. But it can also make you $90 in 5 seconds as well. So it's the same thing, same exact thing. Hopefully that answered your question. Now I'm down $120, 150. Okay. And let's see here. What is a good starting point for a beginner? Okay, I'll tell you where I started at. That's actually a phenomenal question. Let me open up here so you can see it. I want to show you the actual screen here. Why is this not sharing? I don't see Zoom. There we go. Okay. So let me pop this open and you'll see right now. So sorry, it's taking me so long to get to your question here. Okay. So where I first started at, you see this right here where it says NG? Well, they have even another one just for beginners. Okay. So CL is called oil, right? That's oil for the actual market. Well, there's also a thing called mini. So there's a mini oil, which costs even less to get in. So this mini, it's the exact same move as oil, but it's costs a lot less to get in. So you see right here, this one only costs 3,800 to get in. And the reason it's such a high price is because oil is such a heavy traded commodity that they have increased the price on it. When I first started, it only cost 1,500 to get in on light oil. So it's gonna increase, but there's other ones too, like here we go, like futures and forex. You can do forex, CAD versus let's see here, let's do like the American dollar, USD versus the Japanese dollar. So you see right here, this is a $10,000 lot. This only will cost you less than $1,000. These are the simple ways to get in. Inexpensive, simple ways to get in. And what program am I using? Okay. I am using a program called uh, Thinkorswim. Thinkorswim is made by TD Ameritrade. It's an award-winning program. I'm not sponsored by them. This is how I started. It's amazing. It's been amazing the whole time I've been using it. I love it. They pay immediately. Most brokers, you have to actually you don't get your money until 3 days after you close a trade. It's not like that here. The moment you close your trade, you have access to your money like that, instantaneous. So I love it. TD Ameritrade actually just got acquired by Charles Schwab Investments. So just for future, if anybody wanted to know about that. And any other questions? We got about 3 minutes left.
One
Okay,
question came in.
sure.
What exactly is a commodity?
A commodity is anything that is resourceful, that that has extreme value. So water is a commodity because we need water to live, right? So water, land, um, juice, houses, those are all commodities. So that's the stuff that you really want to focus on. You always want to not so much control that, but you want a piece of the pie when it comes to those things. You want to be able to bet on those things. Basketball is not a commodity. That's a luxury. Just in case anybody was focused on that.
Another question just came in, and the
Sure.
question is this for the novice?
Yeah, this is for the novice as well. This is also for the pro and the expert. Is if you've never done this before, why not get into it? It's another stream of income. Even
Okay,
if it yields you another $500, $600 a month, that's still, uh, how many thousands per year? That's about what 6,000 to 7,200 a year. You can't beat that.
awesome, awesome. So the next question then from here is for someone trying to get into this for the very first time, green off the grid, just jumping in. What
Mhm.
is your best advice?
Best advice I would give is to find someone who does it, train under them, or get into an investment group to where everyone can invest with minimal funds and get a maximum return. Or you can YouTube and you can go to different investment groups and different trainings and you can learn it yourself. And do not get discouraged when you lose money. Okay. I want to tell you why not to get discouraged because I just want to share my screen here. I'm sure I'm probably still down in this trade right now, but I'm not going to get discouraged on it because it happens. This doesn't mean that I got into a bad trade. See, I'm down 270. And initially we started, it was what, $30 and all the way down to 270. But it might go up during the night. I'm sorry about that. I apologize. That was a sneeze.
Okay, so one question came in and it's
Sure.
asking, it seems so technical, and just looking at your screen, my eyes were everywhere. I guess all the bright lights and tinkering tickers and everything was,
Yeah.
is there a, I don't know how to say this, is there a streamlined version of that for new beginners would not be so confused?
Yes. Great question. You can actually download the app on your phone. On the phone, it's easy one, two, three.
And what's the name of
Or
it again for the
think
phone?
or swim.
Think or swim.
Yeah, think or swim. Just like swing. Sink or swim is think or swim.
Okay.
And if you don't want to use the app, you can actually just go online and use your actual browser, and the browser will be able to do everything. But it's a lot. When you start using this app, the app is way more intuitive and it goes in depth of everything in it. That's why I love it. It's the
Awesome.
best thing ever.
Awesome. I love this. Now, the next question is this. Okay,
Mhm.
a person just lost their job. They have
Okay.
some money set aside
Hmm.
that they could potentially say, I'm willing to take this money and take, I wouldn't say take a risk, but take a risk, take a step of faith and say, I will invest X dollars and still, of course, keep money in my standby in case of emergencies.
Hmm.
What would you tell someone to starting out with?
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. This
Why?
requires your attention and it also requires losses. The reason I tell you don't do it because if you just lost a job, meaning that you don't have access to additional income.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't have access to additional income, you're in survival mode, not
Mm-hmm.
thriving mode.
Mm-hmm.
You need to survive for now. Get that additional income and use that to start your investments.
Okay. Good point. I had to ask that question because right now a lot of people are doing that.
Yeah, a lot of listen, and I'm telling you, that's why a lot of people are failing. And next year, all these investors are going to be buying your house because everyone took their money. They went and did the forbearance plan on their houses, and they took their savings and started doing these cash app scams and all this foolishness and jumping into forex, jumping into this, and you're not going to have any money. So trust me, survive for now. Just survive. Once you survive, then you'll get your opportunity to thrive.
Okay, good point. And okay, there was actually a question from someone
Mhm.
in the chat, and they were asking difference between risk versus stock. I'm not sure if that's risk or stock.
The difference between risk, it's anytime you invest, it's always going to be a risk, no matter what. It's always a risk. Always, 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 always. It's the exact same when it comes to risk. You just have to make the conscious decision on what you're willing to risk. How much are you willing to lose? Me, I do a 5%. I'm sorry, not a 5%. I do a 1% risk. So I risk 1% of capital and then of whatever the amount to make. So it could be a 5% return, 10%, 15%, doesn't matter. I risk 1%.
Okay.
So at least I have to be wrong 100 times straight in order for me to lose all my money.
Okay. So wrapping up, but here's one question.
Sure.
As you mentioned before, like we said, don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
You said don't do it. If you're not working, don't do it.
If you're not working,
So
don't do it.
I'm working. Someone's working, they're making decent income.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it's still uncertain times. They could be losing job tomorrow, God knows when. If
Okay.
you know, what would you advise is a safe amount of money to put in? Because I heard all the time, this is a business that you could lose it. And the
Yes.
thing is, what the question would be saying, what amount of money do you have that you can afford to lose? That's the way I should
Mm-hmm.
say it. What
Sure.
should I be amount I should put in the account to start this off?
All right. So where I failed at when I first started was that I quit my job and I just jumped right in full force. I didn't know nothing. I knew absolutely nothing. Started from scratch. Like literally started from the bottom. My professional advice is if you make 5,000 a month with your job, your bills are 3,000 a month. Then you have 2,000 extra. Take that 2,000 1 month and invest it. Take 1 month of the excess funds and invest it. See what you can do with 2,000. If you can flip that 2,000 to 2,200, 2,300, 2,400, 2,800. All right, that's good. Depending on the amount of time that it took you to do it. And then now you'll know what the next step is, where to go for the next step. Don't rush anything. The market's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. So it will be here. I know we're out of time, but I just wanted to answer that question for you.
Well, questions are coming in still, so I want to give people the opportunity. Plus, this is Legacy Week. We did promise them some free content
Yeah,
just to
gotcha.
whet the appetite. Okay, another question came in and says, I think it's probably a clarifier the question I had before.
Mm-hmm.
And the question says, what is the level of risk involved versus the stock market?
It's the exact same of level of risk.
Okay,
So if I
exact.
decided to open up a restaurant today, it would be the same level of risk. The moment money leaves your hands and it goes to an investment, there is the highest level of risk it can be. There will always be a risk, always.
Okay, okay. I'm gonna ask if anyone wants to come on the mic and ask a question. You can let me know. Um, I'm seeing here we have tonight on this within the Zoom itself platform
Mm-hmm.
and the Hoover app. I'm seeing Kenya and Ebony. Do you guys have any additional questions? Or Jacqueline Grant? Okay. Don't see anything else as yet. Okay, so you can wrap up and do any final discussions you want to talk about.
All right, perfect. Well, I just want to tell everyone thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Glenn, for allowing me to kick off the legacy hosting. So this is a fantastic thing. Generational wealth. It is. This is something that we all have to strive to do. Okay, remember our race is the last to get the information. Unfortunately, so what you're doing is a phenomenal thing, and it's the actual work of God. So don't let anybody tell you anything different. Also, if anyone would like to meet with me or contact me, my information is Alex the Financial Guru. It's on all streaming platforms, as YouTube and Facebook, Instagram, and then there's also email at alexthefinancialguru@gmail.com.
You drop it in the chat so they can have it.
Sure.
Makes it easier for
No,
them.
no problem.
So beyond all that, so they can contact you directly to work with you if they want to do some work in terms of investments,
Yeah, if they needed some advice,
guidance.
if they needed some guidance, no problem. I'd be more than happy to assist anyone.
Okay, okay. Also, Alex will be back again for the grand occasion what we have coming up with the state of generational wealth. That's going to be a very impactful discussion among a group of men and women talking about the state of generational wealth, where we are today, and how in the world do we get out of it into a place of change.
Yeah,
If the old generation can't do it, the new ones coming up, the new generation has to make that change
that's
now.
right.
There was a statistic quote that by the year 2050, that the African American community would be in a negative, negative bracket in terms of income
Mm,
and reliability in terms of assets. I think this COVID-19 had just accelerated that whole process even by another
correct.
10 years. I don't know where we are right now in statistics of that with COVID-19, but if we do not make a change now, I can't see where our generation will be in the future. I know Alex, the financial guru, is teaching his children
Yes.
about money. I know his kids already learn about this. And I will tell anyone right now, if you have children, get them involved in learning about finances. Just because we did not know, we cannot let our younger generation, our generation, become illiterate to financial empowerment.
Yeah.
Also, look into entrepreneurship. These are two things you can pass on to your children, your legacy, because we have to pass on something other than financial debt and worries to our children. So, once again, thank you for coming on out tonight, Alex, the financial guru. You are definitely the guru, man. People were actually calling me saying, "When is Alex coming on? I don't want to miss him.
I
I don't want to
appreciate it,
miss him."
man.
So, they were
Thank
actually
you.
enjoying it. So far, will flashback. We'll say that you should use the Think or Swim app. It's also available on a desktop version you mentioned.
Yeah, it's on a desktop version. That's the actual app. And then there's also a mobile app for the iOS and for the Android. And then there's also the website version. The website is super easy. It's just that you can't do futures and commodities on the website version. It's only on the desktop and the mobile app.
Now, you mentioned also in your discussion, I heard you say futures, commodities, and also you mentioned Forex.
Forex. Yes, foreign exchange.
Just give us a quick intro. What exactly is Forex for those who didn't hear that?
Forex is just actually foreign exchange currency. So you're betting the U.S. dollar versus Japan's yen, or maybe the euro dollar versus the American dollar. Those type of things. It's like a yin and yang effect. If one is up, the other one is highly going to move down, and you can work it in pairs.
Perfect, perfect. Is that less risky than what you're doing commodities and futures?
It's less capital, but
Less
it's not
capital.
less risky. And remember what I said. And no one will teach this, but always remember this: the moment that money, right? You have that money here. The moment you do this, you just opened up the risk. Always remember that. So the moment that money leaves your hand, it is a risk. It's 100% a risk. But
Hmm.
don't look at it as you can lose it. Look at it as you might be able to turn. You know, other than the lotto, it's very hard to turn $10,000 into a million. But every billionaire on this planet, not millionaire, billionaire, owns stocks, owns commodities. Always remember that. So if you want to be a billionaire, do what the billionaires do.
Thank you for saying that. A lot of us tend to take advice from broke folks. So
You
therefore, you're
can't.
saying,
Don't let a naked man clothe you.
I like that parable. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming on tonight with Mr. Alex, the financial guru. Check us out tomorrow night once again at 7 p.m. The same location where you came on tonight. We'll be right here again. 1 second. I know I saw this. I asked a question before, but I could you ask that question again? 1 second.
Mhm.
Last minute question just came in. Hmm. It's coming. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. This was the person who actually wanted you to be here tonight. Do you have a group that you can
Yes,
people can follow you?
I do have a group. Just go to Alex the Financial Guru on Facebook. Also, my website is called walletoverload.com. So, but if I have a bunch of different investments that we do. We just opened up a new radio station that is 100% black owned. We also a bunch of different things like purchasing properties, investments, rentals, things of that nature. So it's not just futures, not just forex. It's a plethora of different things.
Yes, yes. And next question that came in, because they asked a direct question now.
Mhm.
Do you have an investment group?
I personally don't have it, but a lot of people get the group and then they reach out to me. So I invest the funds for them, or I do those type of things. So just you just let me know if you're doing. And the reason they get the investment groups is because what I charge and what I require for people to invest, you have to have at least 10,000, and the usually the entry point honestly is about 25,000 because that's the way I trade. So like if you're doing stocks, I have to do day trading. So those type of things, like I walk you through the process, set up your account, and then I do everything for you. And then on your profits, you pay in on the profits.
Okay, okay. I'm checking on Facebook and checking everywhere on the app, and I think we are now officially out of questions. So thank you very much, sir, for coming on tonight. If you
No
have any questions
problem.
for Alex, you can reach him and his social media pages, Alex the Financial Guru. You can check out his walletoverload.com and many
Hmm.
other options he showed you before on his chat. Thank you once again. Have a wonderful evening. Thanks again,
No
Alex.
problem. Take care. Thanks
You
again.
too. Bye bye.